Oh, very cool. That was Don McGlashin with a marvellous year, and he's going to...
I love him.
You?
I know.
Honestly, we love you. Come and join us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, great to have you.
Cheers.
Lovely to meet you. Such an honour.
Good to be here.
How many instruments do you play?
Well, I sort of studied the French horn when I was going through university, and I played in orchestras, and I played a bit of percussion before that, and I was in brass bands when I was a little kid.
Amazing.
But then when rock and roll kind of hit me, I ended up playing the drums. That was my first instrument in bands. Yeah. And then I ended up just playing the easy ones, like the euphonium, which I played before, is actually a really forgiving instrument. It doesn't mind if you know, it's like the perfect partner that you were talking about before. You can just leave it, doesn't complain, you know, it just sits in its case and you never need to practice it. And that's my second one. I've had one that was smashed up in a van accident, and they seem to just keep playing. It's great.
You talk about when rock and roll hit you. Is that what it was like? You were kind of playing in brass bands and then suddenly you heard someone and you loved it?
Oh, well, I guess what hit me wasn't the love of rock and roll, because I'd grown up, listening to listening to pirate radio, and under the bedclothes, with the little transistor radio, and me and my brother used to listen to the Kinks and the Rolling Stones, and just that whole world of communication was really out there. What hit me was the idea that maybe I could do it, because when I was, maybe that I could write some, because when I was just starting off in bands, I was the player. I was the sort of, the guy in the background that played a few instruments. And it took me, I was quite late to the idea that I could actually write songs, and I've been working on that ever since.
So how did you sort of go about starting to write your first songs?
Oh, well, I was...
I mean, is it something
lucky.
You have to study?
Well, I never studied it, but I was really lucky, because the band, the Blam Blam Blam, which was a sort of punk band that we were in, we'd arisen out of a couple of other bands, and a fantastic writer called Richard von Sturmer, who was a kind of mentor for us at school. He was an older guy at school who just wrote furiously and edited the school magazine, and was this kind of one-man arts organisation. And he used to leave fantastic lyrics lying around the room of our practice room, lying on the floor.
Which school was this?
Westlake Boys High School. And so there was a kind of apprenticeship where we could learn how to write songs, but we didn't need to write the lyrics. We didn't need to have an idea to communicate. And I came to that a bit later. But
you do it so beautifully now. I mean, your songs to me are about the thing, but your lyrics as well. Which is easier for you, the music or the lyrics? I'm kind of atypical, because I start with an idea. A lot of songwriters start with a melody, most actually. And what I do is I tend to just wander around, or sit on trains with a notebook, or sit on buses or park benches. It's kind of a vagrant look. But what I tend to do is just write down lots of notes, just fragments of conversation, ideas that occur to me, and then eventually they turn into songs. I don't write lots of rhyming lyrics and then set music to them, but I do have an idea of what the song's about before I pick up the guitar.
Now, a lot of people, I mean, most people will know you for that amazing song Anchor Me, and I'm sure you get so sick of talking about it, but it's such a New Zealand anthem. But you were really upset at the election last year. I cannot believe what you said when it was played at the National Party.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, okay, fair enough.
It was quite funny when you said that. I flew off the handle a bit, because I was disappointed about the election result, and democracy is a good thing, and the people spoke, and that's all good. We've got to move on. Yes.
But I'm still disappointed about the election result. But all I did was just put up my hand and sort of say, it would have been nice if I'd been asked, because it's a really small place, and it's easy to find me. But as I say, you got to move on.
But you did say you would rather have sex with a very ugly crayfish.
I did say that, and I'd just like to say right here and now that I meant no offence to seafood.
Let's look at your journey though, because you have been creating now, your new album's out now. Is it getting easier to get music to people, to get them to buy albums?
It's getting harder for them to buy albums.
Can get it all free online.
Yeah, I mean, the sort of less traditional ways of getting music out are now very much to the fore. Yeah. So it's kind of it's kind of like a Wild West out there at the moment.
So what do you do? Like how, you know, with this album, Marvellous Year, how are you going to get it out to
I was hoping you'd tell me.
Well, it's like that. Is it still... Because people are going to new media now and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I never liked the idea of selling records at gigs.
Yeah.
Because it always seemed to be, I mean, I like record shops. I love record shops. I love going in and just, you know, sort of asking somebody who knows what they're talking about if you like this sort of music, you know, what's similar and all that sort of stuff. And I thought selling records at gigs was somehow wrong, but this last tour we did of New Zealand, we sold a huge amount of records at the shows, and it seemed that people were sort of more comfortable buying them there than they were going into record shops, which I guess is just the way things are going now. And
then another part of your continuing musical journey, you've also started writing soundtracks for movies. You did Dean Spainley and Piece of My Heart. How did that all come about? I started actually when I was really young. I was seconded to a show called Mortimer's Patch, which nobody would remember.
No, I do.
And it was a really good cops and robbers show actually. And I was the kind of guy that turned up and played instruments. I wasn't the main composer. There were two other composers working on it who were more experienced than me. So it was an apprenticeship for me. And then I did bits and pieces more. I did a film called Other Halves, a lovely director called John Lang.
Beautiful.
And then Jane Campion asked me to do An Angel at My Table, which is the Janet Frame story, which was another huge learning curve. That was kind of after The Front Lawn and before The Mutton Birds started. So there was a window in there where I kind of had just started The Mutton Birds, but we hadn't really taken off and become full-time.
So you had time to... Because that's quite an incredible film.
It's a wonderful film.
Are you enjoying doing soundtracks?
Yeah, I do. I love... I mean, my main thing's writing songs, but to be able to come off a tour and set yourself a few months where you're collaborating with a whole bunch of people and helping somebody else tell a story is really good after the solitariness of writing songs. It's a lovely balance to be able to do to be part of a craft that's a really big thing. Film's a really big collaborative, you know, millions of people running around sort of thing, and it's as I say, it's sociable, and a lot of the disciplines are the same, you know, storytelling and trying to cut your idea down so that there's no sort of waste on it, and trying to come up with fresh ideas. They're all the same as writing songs, but it's like songwriting, but taken out of your bedroom and expanded into lots of people.
What is your favourite? Because like you just toured with Crowded House last year around Europe and stuff. But do you prefer songwriting or performing live?
Well, I think the two are really linked, because the lovely thing about songwriting is that it's such an immediate thing. If you're a novelist, you struggle away with your idea, and then you struggle to try and get a publisher, and then eventually somebody reads it, and there's that moment when somebody comes up to you, maybe, and says, that book lived with me for a while and it's still inside me, it still resonates with me. With songwriting, it's immediate. You know, you write a song on a Thursday night, you play it on the Saturday night, and somebody might feel something, you know, and or what happens with me a lot is I'll because I've got a really good band now, I'll bring them a song and they'll immediately sort of capture it and it'll become theirs, and that's a fantastic feeling. So I can't really separate the two. The thing with touring with Crowded House, which was really cool, was that it was pure performance, because it wasn't. I mean, I was opening for them across the States in Europe last year, but big chunk of the evening was just playing Neil's songs and, you know, trying to add to those beautiful songs, and that was so that meant I could everything else could just go out of my mind. I could just think about playing in tune and performing, pure performance. And I haven't had that for a long time, because for many years I've done my own stuff, and that was a real privilege.
Oh, Don, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for everything you've done over the years. You've always kept moving forward, and it's just been fantastic to watch, and your music's great.
Great to meet you.
For more information on Don's music, just please see our website.